Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with SHEP.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Passing pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with SHEP.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Late on the take, you know what I mean? But seeing Braylon's breakdown and that promo made me just go, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome, everybody. It's a Wednesday edition of the Braylon Edwards Show.
Side note, in this, what's going on, Chef?
How are you?
Super excited about today.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody in here. Kool-Aid Ryan. I'm excited for the day because
Me too.
of the bye week. We talked a lot of Lions, and there was no Lions on week 2. Really need to talk about the Lions on Monday and Tuesday. Obviously, we need to talk about it the day after something happened that we'll talk about. But football, can't wait to talk about it. But that highlight tape at the end of the intro, that's the Purdue game.
Right.
Purdue game my junior year. That was one of my favorite games. It was fun. Purdue, they had Kyle Orton, Chicago Bears quarterback, Denver Broncos. They legitimately did what they do, started off hot in the non-conference schedule. They got to getting chippy with us talking about we're better than a couple teams around the Big Ten, some fake blue bloods. Like, these are comments coming out of West Lafayette.
Wow.
Well, first of all, Drew Brees is no longer there. Why are people talking about what we do? So they talked about us, talked stuff about us, and they played us, and they're ranked number 11th in the country. You know Purdue back then, they were happy. We're 11th. They're chipping, feeling themselves.
Well, that's an accomplishment, but you're right. It's not what you expect when you go to a different
And we
school.
beat them 38-0. Like, I had 2 touchdowns at halftime. It was like literally the only time Lloyd Carr's ever pulled me. Like, Lloyd will never
So they were
pull
just
you.
doing this.
Yeah,
That's all they were doing.
38-0. Now we beat the brakes off of them, and then Joe Tiller gets to the microphone, gets to the podium, and he said, word of advice for Michigan State, because we played them the following week. He said, these receivers block like no receivers we have ever seen. The hell with the touchdowns. Like, yeah, we did that too. But he talked about how physical we were. Like, Jason Avant, like, he picked their safety up. I can't think his name now. And, Stuart Swagger.
Dump trucked him.
Like, picked him up. I'm talking about one of those, like, lineman pancakes. I had a couple of those
Love
on
that.
on the starting cornerback. Stephen Breston, a.k.a. Steve
Steve
Breston,
Breston,
punt
yeah.
return specialist. He's not a physical guy. He's a punt return guy. He's a wiry wide receiver. He slammed one of their cornerbacks, and Joe Tiller legitimately said to the media, word of advice to Michigan State, this wide receiver core, it's real. We went up to East Lansing, and we had like 400 yards of receiving too, so.
Wouldn't have been a bad idea for Joe Tiller to say word of advice to my room, to my guys. Stop chirping a little bit just to piss somebody off because your success, you did piss them off.
I guess sometimes like when you're going to a giant or a bigger opponent, you try to get some buzz or you try to create something, but like they created that saying, don't poke the bear for a reason. Don't poke the Wolverine.
Don't poke the bear. But you know what? I mean, we're excited, though, because we're going to talk a lot of football today.
Speaking of Wolverines.
And for good reason. Yeah, speaking of Wolverines, you're doing a better job than I am.
I'm sorry.
At the transitions. The Lions have been viewed, Braylon and I talk about this a little bit, I think they're now viewed as the blue ribbon franchise in the NFL. And I might even go so far as to say sports. Because when we talk about building programs, building teams, you build with drafting and developing. You sprinkle in a trade. You sprinkle in a free agent. You got to identify the right player. You got to make sure that player gets better, and then you've got to reward that player to stay here. Other players in the National Football League recognize this stuff. Yeah. They've done it with Penei Sewell. They've done it with Jared Goff. They've done it with, of course, Kirby Joseph. They've done it with a number of different players. And now the latest is the beast on the edge, and I absolutely love it. So he is going to be a Lion, not just for 4 years, because it's a 4-year extension. It's it's 6 years, okay? And the only player who is a non-quarterback who makes more money annually than Aidan Hutchinson is Micah Parsons, okay? Is it deserved? How do you feel about it?
100% is deserving. I'll start here before I go into the front office because there's some things to unpack there with Sheila Hamp. She's done an excellent job. Let's start there. She has done an excellent job. We'll get back to her and what this is about. But yes, he deserves it. You look at this, the first 6 games of the season, they were nothing more than before the season starts, front office had a conversation with Aidan Hutchinson. We wanted to pay you last year. You had an unfortunate injury. We still want to pay you. You're our guy. We believe in you. The league believes in you. We just want to make sure it looks like it's supposed to look the first 6 weeks. We get that, boom. We lock you in. Everything's good. We promise we'll do that. You don't need to ask us again. That's exactly what they did. Mm-hmm. They legitimately watched him in these first 6 games before the bye week, and what does he look like? He looks like a wrecking ball. He looks like he's on the pace that he was on at the start of the season last year. Odds for defensive MVP until these 5 sacks by Myles Garrett, you saw where they were. It's deserving. You get it out of the way, and you don't have this distraction. You don't have this big cloud hanging over, whether it's his agent, whether it's him, whether it's the energy in the locker room. When you lock these things up, you don't have to deal with them. You can move forward with fluid energy. Talking about locking things up, they are the model. And you have to give Sheila Hamp some credit. We talk so much about being men of their word. Brad Holmes said, hey, I'm going to draft you, and if you do what you're supposed to do, we'll pay you. Penei Sewell, check. Amon-Ra St. Brown, check. Kirby Joseph, check. Aidan Hutchinson today, check.
Jameson Williams, check.
Williams,
Aleem McNeil, check.
Check-ish. Aleem McNeil, check. Like, this is what we do. They did it with Aidan Hutchinson. This is how you operate in the league today. You do these things, you create the morality around the locker room. You create guys that want to fight for the team and keep what they have going, and you pay your own. You don't have deals where you're trying to figure out, is this guy going to get paid? Is this person going to get paid? Let's push this down the line. Let's kick this can down the line. You just take care of it and you get it out of the way. And this is what the Lions have been doing as it relates to that. And then just everything, like how they promote from within as head coaches, et cetera. The Lions typically are getting it right in all facets right now. Work,
succeed, reward.
Yeah.
That's what they have right now. And it's a little surprising to me because I walked into the studio a long time ago and I was really fired up that they've done this.
Yeah.
And I said to Ryan, so what are your thoughts on Aidan Hutchinson? He's like, yeah, I hope it's not the only move they make. And I thought for a moment, just what? That's where your mind goes?
Yep.
Your mind doesn't go, you know what? Finally, the front office has done, not finally with this front office, but the Lions, they've done something I've been bitching about for over a year. I want to sign Tarek Skubal. Why don't they do it? Yeah. I would do it right away. They do it with Aidan Hutchinson. Well, really hope that they can get a depth defensive end guy. I really hope they can get some depth on the offensive line. That's where your mind goes after signing one of the best defensive ends in the league here for the next 6 years, or guaranteed 6 years, an additional 4 years at the end.
Let me answer that question for him and see if he's right, and then you let me know if I'm wrong or not. Getting back to, is he deserving? Yes. A lot of the big conversation is the guys that they pay, these defensive ends they pay, those guys teams don't pan out. You look at the guys that are highest paid in the league, only one of those guys has had some success in the postseason. But he deserves it. Like, he's one of the best in the league. When you have one of the best in the league at that position or one of the top 3 guys, it's no conversation. It's no conversation until maybe we should do this, maybe we should. He is one of the best defensive ends in the league, and that's not changing anytime soon.
Right.
A major injury that he came back from shows you it's not. So the fact that that's the case, pay him. You have him, you pay him. Now, as it relates to his energy, I understand that because this doesn't do anything for the immediate concept of what the Lions are. Like, you're not worrying about paying Aidan Hutchinson right now for the fan base. They're like, well, we got Aidan. We know we got Aidan. What we're trying to do at 5-2, we're trying to figure out, are we going to add a defensive rush in to help him throughout this season or the playoff run? Are we going to add a DB because we're completely depleted? Are we going to add a piece that can help us now? Paying Aidan, it helps us tremendously. But in the grand scheme of what a fan is thinking, he's not thinking about locking Aidan Hutchinson up right now. He's thinking about the playoffs. He's thinking about the NFC Championship to the Super Bowl, and it takes, in their mind, pieces to add.
I'm wondering why you would think a general manager would lock up as many guys as he has, including this mega deal, and not view as an opportunity to add if indeed he needed to add. Did he add last year?
Yeah.
Yes. Have they been better this year, like a depleted secondary, than any of us thought they would be? I don't want that out there every week. Don't get me wrong. But were they better than you thought? Do you trust those coaches? Do you trust his judgment? Yes, yes, and yes. I'm not suggesting you sit there and say, we're done. But what I am suggesting is for a day, give yourself a little bit of leeway to say, you know what? I'm really glad I got the guy in charge who decided to not just draft this dude, but also pay this dude and keep him here.
Yeah, I'm not saying like this is all. I'm happy Hutch got paid.
You don't act like it.
We need him, but at the same
you don't act. You act like you got sandpaper in your underwear.
But I don't. But at the same time, I want a Super Bowl. I want a championship, and I know everyone here at this desk and in the chat wants a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the expectation.
But at the same time, aren't the other teams that we're going to be competing with, are they going to add at the deadline? Are they going to get better? I want us to make sure that if we have a depleted secondary late in the season, we're fighting for for seeding in the playoff spot, maybe in a playoff game. I want to make sure that everything's covered, and at the end of the season, I don't want to hear, well, if we traded for an edge rusher, if we didn't have injuries, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that.
Did you hear that last year? Did you hear excuses last year?
The injuries was the excuse.
Do you know? No, that was the excuse by us. It wasn't the excuse by the team. There's a huge difference. What's the trade deadline?
Next Tuesday.
Yeah. Is it Tuesday yet?
No, but I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm hoping it's not the only move that's made.
But to Ryan's credit, like, why now? Why announce the Aidan Hutchinson?
Because it's been going on for a while.
Okay, understood. But why not wait till Wednesday? Like, hear me out. You ask why are fans not so excited? Because it's a trade deadline coming up. They're worried about the future, and locking in Aidan Hutchinson is a great move, but it has nothing to do in their mind of what this moment is about. So this moment is about what do you add to your team in the next 4 or 5 days that is going to help them move forward.
I get it.
We're not disrespecting them for signing.
I get it. I'm just trying to figure out why you can't think for the day that this is the right thing and that understand that there's more time to wait for the trade deadline, that not every great trade is done a week ahead of time, and to judge it so quickly and saying they better do this. How do you know they don't? Okay? We know that guys are coming back healthy. We know they've added pieces. They added pieces before, by the way, Tyrus Wheat, that nobody knew. And he had 1.5 sacks against Tampa. I don't know.
But it's kind of like when you get information, like you get some news, someone tells you something that they did for you or that they gave to you or they're going to give you.
Bought a house.
Yeah, but realistically, but you weren't looking for that.
Yeah.
Like the good news that you were looking for just wasn't that. So to get that good news, it's great news. But when you already assumed that news was going to be happening anyway, like if you knew that a house was coming within the next couple of weeks or the next month and you knew it was coming anyway and you were looking for some news about a car, and on that day you got the news about this house that you knew you were going to get in 2-3 weeks anyway. So you can't be overly excited because that car is what you really were looking for. And I think this good news, they knew that we were going to sign Hutch down the line. Like hell, everyone knew. But they were looking for the quarterback. They were looking for
until that happens, though, there's always a question in the back of people's minds. Yeah. Why haven't you done it with Jalen Duren? Why haven't you done it with Jaden Ivey? Oh, my gosh, if they don't get it done soon, it's going to cost more money than we can afford, Tarek Skubal. So there are reasons why people should have hesitation if they didn't sign him and thinking that this is automatic when now we know absolutely you're going to have your defensive captain or one of them for the next 6 years. Go ahead.
You just told us why we should have known it was coming. Because they paid Penei Sewell, because they paid St. Brown, because they paid Kobe Joseph. And in my estimation, to the Detroit Lions, Aidan Hutchinson is worth more than all of them. Mm-hmm. Like if we're being honest, I know we make it about Penei and Amon-Ra St. Brown is this great teammate and what he is, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Aidan Hutchinson is the star of the Detroit Lions. So we knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah, for me, it's always been like the sooner the better. It's interesting. Somebody in the chat said, experts. Brad Holmes has the right to draft and sign his own guys. Also experts. Scott Harris doesn't have the right to draft his own guys and sign them when they earn a second contract. Nobody has said that. The problem people have with Scott Harris is that he's banking on high schoolers from 3 years ago. The tail of the tape, the resume, if you will, for number 97, and 58 and 14 and 31 and number 9 and 16, all those guys, it's real. It's right in front of you. What's the latest saying in today's world? They've got receipts. What's the receipts outside high A ball from Kevin McGonigal, who I hope is really good, and experts think he is? What's the receipts from Max Clark, who I think is really good, but we don't know. So there's the difference. You can't compare what Brad Holmes has done in drafting and developing, then signing those guys who actually performed, to what Scott Harris has done with Cole Keith and any other young player we don't know because they were playing 3 years ago at a high school in Indiana.
When somebody asked you that question, whoever that was, I said, oh, shoot. I said, you asked the wrong one. 'Cause he's about to break the Tigers down in such a way you can be like, why'd I ask that question? But thank you, Shaq.
But you know what? I used to think a lot like Ryan, and I still feel like I do. There's things I see, and I'm like, yo, Brad, you got to do something. Brad, you got to do something. But I keep remembering I'm the guy in the passenger seat. Not even. I'm probably the guy in the back seat or just an observer of his car.
Telling us how to drive?
He's the guy. He's Evel Knievel. He understands how to fly close to the sun. Because realistically, last year, let's just call it what it is. People say, oh, last year defense, the injuries was an excuse. I've never seen a team experience what the Lions experienced last year, and they still went 15-2. And if Jared Goff just didn't go kaput in that game, we're probably talking a completely different tune. The season before that, they won 3 games. They won 2 games in a row and almost had a third in the bag. I think that this is a season that's prime for this team, especially Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, to prove that their way is that way. But in terms of the trade deadline stuff, we've argued about that. We argued about that last year. We argued about that the year before. And each year, I believe that we wound up being the ones that were wrong. I feel like Brad Holmes continues to prove, this season, the we're good statement. We all had to eat a lot of crow about that. I wanted Zadarius Smith. I thought we needed him. And then all of a sudden, we see the guys that they named and that we chuckled at being the guys that are coming through. So
and then he retires. Braylon said this. Braylon said 3 weeks ago. He said, I guess we should be more concerned about picking up a corner than an edge rusher.
I agree with that.
I think so.
Okay.
100,
Right.
yeah.
When I talked to Ryan about this, though, the first thing he said is, I hope this is not the only thing they've done. I hope I want some depth at edge rusher. Okay.
Depth in either
and
position.
we don't know if Marcus Davenport's coming back. I know people roll their eyes. I would too, but they have found a way.
We chuckle at this
But
stuff.
my point is they have found a way. Not that it's perfect because they're not a complete team. They have found a way to overcome what we thought was their deficiencies, and I hope that works moving forward. But I trust, and maybe this is my fault, I trust a guy who has said, I've locked up all these guys to give them an opportunity to be a champion this year. I think they need at least this more or this more, whatever it be, a corner, a safety, whatever it may be. And I'm going to do everything I can to get it. And I think he will. I'm confident he will.
Yeah, I'm confident he will too, and I'm confident the moves that he's made, the draft picks he's made, the ones in which he's paid. Like, I'm confident that everything he has done has been under his own, and he and Dan Campbell, their plan. They've stuck with their plan since 2021, and the plan has only continued into 2025, and it's put them in a really good position. So I believe that he's going to do the right thing. At the end of the day, you also can make moves and help the team out. And I think that's also what Ryan wants, help the team out. Because they keep saying we're good, and we understand that. We're good. We're good. We're good at the offensive line position. We're good at the defensive line position. We're good at the secondary position. Things happen during the season. So far, you realize that your starting left tackle, Taylor Decker, you realize that he's got some injuries, and you realize that he's got some age and some things are going on. What does that look like moving forward? On the opposite side of the ball, you want to make sure you get a rush on the opposite side of Aidan Hutchinson, and more consistent rush. So is there a player out there that can come over here and help you in that department? Now, since the season started, the more information that you have, everyone in the secondary is getting injured. Everyone is injured. And then some of the secondary aren't necessarily playing to the tune of what we thought they were going to play to this year. So adding another player at this point is the move, then it's the move. It's not about listening to Brad Holmes say we're good in the beginning of the season. They were. But here we are. This is a different day. So I'm kind of adjusting accordingly, if you will.
I think that's the right way to look at it.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat said sacks are up, but the pass rush win rate is down. Aidan Hutchinson is 4th in the league in pass rush win rate. The only 3 guys ahead of him, in no particular order, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, and Will Anderson. So I'm not saying you can't blame Aidan Hutchinson, but That dude's a menace. Every team game plans for that dude.
Yeah.
So the contract is worthy without question.
You know what's crazy about that too? Name those for each guy that you name that's ahead of him.
Who's
on the opposite
I
side
was
of
just
that
going to
person?
say that. Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Rashawn Gary, you said this last week.
Pro Bowl caliber, all pro caliber player.
What'd you say? You said, I don't know if we were on camera or not, but you said, Shep, is it the best tag team duo in the National Football League? And I said, I believe, I said, maybe if it's not, it's number 2 because you got Houston right in there too.
Danielle
okay?
Hunter, who you
and
just
Danielle
mentioned,
Hunter
and
and
then
Will
Will
Anderson
Anderson.
is right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's doing this without.
Right. So does he need a Robin? Is he Batman? Does he need a Robin? Okay. I don't disagree that he does. I'm just confident, and maybe perhaps a little bit more confident than some, that Brad Holmes will address that issue.
Their situation is unique, and I think what has to happen is the secondary play has to. Excuse me. Let me not say all secondary. The defensive back position, that play has to get better because this operates in the league like this. You know who had defensive line similar is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have T.J. Watt, and they don't have another guy on the opposite side. They have Cameron Hayward, and that's what the Detroit Lions have. Lions have Aleem McNeil and Aidan Hutchinson. So you don't necessarily need that other guy, but you know what they've always had? They've had good cornerback play as well.
Yeah, and really good safety play.
100. Well, we have the safeties. It's
Yeah.
the cornerback help that we're trying to see. Like, it's 6 weeks into the season, and we still don't know what our DBs are. Like,
Yeah.
DJ Reed and Terry Arnold included. We don't know what they are 6 weeks into the season.
Yeah, well, we're not impressed with some of them. I can absolutely admit that. I think a lot of people would agree with that. I think Pittsburgh's a little bit of a different scenario because their linebackers get home so much. Okay, I mean, when I look at their linebackers, it's not like I'm impressed with the linebackers you played against, but when you had, what's that?
Like Queen.
Well, I was going to say Alex Highsmith. I mean, he's a guy who gets home quite a bit. Okay, I think he's a pretty good player. I love Peyton Wilson when he came out of NC State. I was praying that we could get somebody like that. But you're right. I mean,
Jack Campbell starting to get home a little bit.
Jack Campbell's getting home a little bit, and it's interesting because there's a publication that has mentioned his name that I want to share with you, and I think you'll find that pretty interesting. I just don't feel the enthusiasm for the signing like I thought I would from fans so far in the chat or from anybody I talked to. And I've talked to about 4 or 5 people, not just Ryan, I'm not picking on Ryan, but 4 or 5 people I've talked to, where it's via text or via phone call or face-to-face, like, hey, man, what do you think? I thought it would be like, yes, we have a front office that knows what the hell it's doing. This is great. And maybe my expectations were too high.
But let me hear you. Maybe I don't think that they're too high. Yes, they are too high, Shep.
Yeah,
and they're
they
too
are.
high because usually when signings, you get excited for signings. They're before the season starts.
Yeah.
Like before the season starts, you get a signing, boom, I'm excited. Or you're on a losing team and you extend somebody who's like, oh, at least we kept this person our season. They're 5-2. They're almost number 1 in their division. We believe they're the best team in the NFL, et cetera, et cetera. Like, this is where they are right now, and we're thinking down the line. So getting excited about a player that we know we're going to sign, that we know is here, like, this does not move the needle on anything of our current thought process.
It's interesting. It is. I think you're absolutely right
it's
on
like
that.
during the season, like, does this, in this moment, change how we feel about the team, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, no,
et cetera?
your car and house example is a really good one. It made me really rethink a lot of this. I guess, to put it in simplistic forms, and maybe this is unfair, you would be more excited that they traded for Jalen Phillips than you would be to re-sign the star of your defense. And to me, that's a little odd. It's tough for me to compute that.
I kind of feel like that the Hutch signing, like, you should have done that. Like, that, like, is a given. Like, I understand, like, it's a lot of money and it's, situating a whole team and everything, and obviously way above my pay grade, I'm paying someone like that, but it kind of just feels like you should have done that. Like, congrats, you got Hutch done, 4 more years, but, like, I feel like that should have been done regardless.
I feel like that's like Brad Brain syndrome because from the Lions teams I grew up watching, they didn't do that. We had a lot of Lions players that we wanted them to do that for, but we were always told you can't pay everybody. We were told with this iteration, Kirby might be a casualty. Then when they signed him, they were like, whoa, who's the casualty now?
That surprised a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like with Brad Holmes, I expect it to get done because he's the one that's made it like commonplace for us now. But before that, and with all of our other teams too, it's not as common. So that's where I try to play this thing where I agree with Bray. our needs change as the season goes on. And
Yeah.
even Brad Holmes said that too. He said, look, sometimes our needs don't reveal themselves today. They might reveal themselves differently in the future. And that's why I am hoping and that they do something at this trade deadline to shore up a Super Bowl run. But I do believe they think they have enough.
Yeah.
When you live in an era that's changed, when the status quo has been such for a while, you don't know the other side. And I think a lot of the conversation in chat and a lot of people that aren't excited, Shep, they don't remember that it's 75, 85, 95. They don't really care about 2015. They don't care about 2020, anything past that and on.
Yeah.
All they see is 21, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right. And in those 5 years, in this current space, the Lions have done everything that they were supposed to do. There's been no point. There's been a couple that you could point to, but hell, that's every franchise. But for the most part, you look at them and they are knocking down the doors that they're supposed to knock down. So I think that's how they're looking at it. They're no longer looking back in the past.
I like that. Yeah,
because you're right.
No, look, you guys are all helping me.
Like, I can't believe they signed Hutch. They would have never done this.
Right.
They would have never.
They would have found an
excuse
not to do that.
They would never give him Barry this before he deserved it.
I've been a person. I've always been a person though.
Yeah.
Just because Braylon's supposed to catch the ball and doesn't mean I can't say nice job. Just because you think Brad Holmes should have done this doesn't mean that everybody would have done this. Hi, Jerry Jones in Dallas. I'll guarantee you, every Dallas Cowboys fan said this is an absolute no-brainer. Okay, come on, you've got to do this. He's the best defensive pass rusher Dallas has had in years, and he's one of the best, if not the best. You can make the argument in the league right now. And he trades him away. So let's say he does do that. Are you not going to pat him on the back? I'm a big believer. You do something right, you deserve the acknowledgement. I'm not going to go overboard because I expect.
Lineman. Did you say Sue?
What's that?
Did you say Sue?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Ndamukong Suh is another good one, depending on the price tag. But yeah, so I just because they did it and you think they should have done it doesn't mean they don't deserve some acknowledgement there.
I agree with that. I have nothing for you. You're absolutely correct.
But I do understand where he's coming from because if that alert comes across that they signed somebody at the edge or somebody at cornerback, you already know what social media is going to be. Y'all see it on my face already. I'm already getting kind of because I get you, Ryan. I do get you. I don't want to take that from you, bro.
Is this not a sign? Maybe I'm overboard here. So reel me in, okay?
Yeah.
I'm a bass in the water, and you guys are right there on Walled Lake wheeling me in, okay?
Some
I used
good
to have
fish
one
to
of
catch, by the
those
way.
singing bass.
Yeah. Some
that
walleye.
went viral back in the day that you put on the wall.
Yeah, there you go.
I
A
had
singing
one.
bass. And a lot
I
of
had
people
one
in the
in my
chat may
office.
say it's a big mouth bass, too. Does this not is this not another good example of this is why this organization is one of the best in all of sports?
This is why the Detroit Lions now have the ability to turn down individuals to come play for them. Like, Lions were never like this back in the day. Since we want to go back in the day, I guarantee you, the calls that the Lions get from agents, from teams, in terms of the type of players that want to come here, want to play here, want to be traded here, want to find a way to do a deal here, they got to turn those guys down right now because of how good they believe they are, because of what they've created and the guys they drafted and paid. So 100%. Like, it's crazy to think that we're here with this franchise, with this ball club. But, Shep, we are, and I love it.
See, you grew up as a Michigan fan. Your dad played there. You went there. There's a certain expectation, and you lived it. Okay, you experienced it. You felt it. You could tell when somebody else didn't follow that blueprint, Cleveland, but then went to the Jets, and at the time you felt it again, right? I'm sure you felt it in San Francisco and Seattle. This is a new feeling for Lions fans, and now you get the sense more and more fans are looking at this like Ryan did, and it's a fair assumption. Look, this is what's expected. What did Dan Campbell say 2 weeks ago? This is what we expect here. I love the lofty expectation. Why are you afraid of it? Don't be afraid of it, right? That's what this organization has become. It's become an organization of doing things the right way. And I never would have said that before. We would have said about the Red Wings, and we said it back in the day about the Pistons. We say it about the Lions now, that they are the top bar and everybody else has got to follow that lead. It's really refreshing and fun. Now, it doesn't mean squat if they don't win a Super Bowl. It really doesn't. They've got to win a Super Bowl. Everybody knows
100%.
that.
So that's the thing. Like, now that you pay Hutch, now that there's less money or there will be less money, that clock is really ticking now. That clock is really
You're
going
right.
to tick for the next 3 years. Like, really, too, but the next 3 years will give him that. Shep, you hate the term window.
Yes, I hate
I
it.
don't mind it so much. I understand it. It's a word that people use. You
I
dive
agree with
around
this.
it.
The
is
clock
what it
is ticking.
But there's one thing I do understand about the window that I don't like. When you have the Holy Trinity, when you have the owner that gets it, that's connected to the GM that gets it, that's connected to the head coach that gets it. See, that window,
That's
see,
good.
it extends. And then when you draft right, and then you pay the people that you draft, Penei Sewell, best offensive lineman in the league, St. Brown, top 3 wide receiver in the league. If you call him number 1, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would just disagree. You look at Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. You've paid Aidan Hutchinson now, top 3 at his position in the league. And if you statistically be number 1 based off statistical merit, like when you have these guys that are the pillars, when they're now the foundation of your team, where's the window?
Right. It's a garage door.
And
it's not
the
a window, it's a
offensive
garage
line,
door.
Now you've got more pieces. So I think that you just keep revamping, keep adding to it. But the window stays open as long as you have the Holy Trinity,
I love
which
that.
I don't see going anywhere.
I love that Holy Trinity, and you're dead on there. The other thing, if I could just add to it, not only have you signed these players, you've signed them in their prime.
Yeah.
Okay, these guys are. He's the youngest of all the guys I brought up with the other defensive ends / pass rushers.
Shoot, your quarterback's only 29.
Yeah, I think he just turned 30, but whatever. Yeah,
Okay,
they're
I'm
still
sorry,
young.
my fault.
Hey,
He's
listen,
a quarterback. Though. He's got 10 by the new marriage.
Right. All these guys are still in the prime, and you have them in that window, there's your word, of their prime years. It's a beautiful thing, and it's something that needs to be celebrated. It doesn't mean they've arrived. It doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. I am not going overboard in that regard. All I'm saying is this is another thing done good by arguably the best franchise. I know this is going to sound strange for people to hear it. The best franchise in football. I saw a podcast of a dude the other day who delivers content for the Jets. Sorry, Braylon. Who literally said, I mean, you could make the argument that Aaron Glenn is the best coach in the division and that this team will have a chance at making the playoffs in this division.
You got to lay off the crack.
Yeah, and I thought, dude, I mean, give him a urine cup right now. I mean, it was unbelievable. What I'm saying is completely realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what people would say. What, are you kidding me? What about Kansas City? I get it. What about certain other organizations? Maybe you want to say Baltimore. Maybe you want to say Pittsburgh. Okay. All I'm saying is they're part of the conversation where other people around the league, like you said, other players. Remember 2 years ago when agents were saying, our guy wants to call the Lions, wants me to call the Lions to go play for them. That's how much it's changed.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lions is like, not home. New phone, who this?
Yeah.
Because that's how good they
That's a landline. I got a cell phone now. No need.
The one thing the only thing I would always add at the end of giving Brad Holmes credit, giving the front office credit, et cetera, is if it does not work this season with your own guys, doing it your way, finding the free agents where, you can get for a little cheaper, who they have a gripe on their shoulder or they've got an injury, and so this is how it happens. If it doesn't work this year, ladies and gentlemen, please be open to bringing in free agents that just have a little bit more, that are a little bit more top tier at the trade deadline, at the when the season's over, when after the Super Bowl, et cetera. Be open. Because you're doing it your way, and it looks great. And it's all that. It's all the things.
Yep.
But if it does not work after this season, I'm just saying, just be open.
Well, if it doesn't work after this season, there's going to be deep conversations going into next year that we don't necessarily have to get into now.
You sure you're not going to tell us we're good?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're probably not going to tell us we're good.
Let me leave them alone.
Look,
They did do a good thing today.
even great teams add.
Yeah.
Okay. Kansas City added.
Everybody that's won the Super Bowl except in the last 10 years
Philadelphia
has added.
Yeah. And Philadelphia added again this year. And I don't mean Zadarius Smith.
Rams,
I'm talking about
Kansas
Brandon Graham. Yeah. They got Brandon Graham's ear. Love the guy, right? Very hey, man, we just lost a guy. We need you back. That's adding. You've added to your roster. You've added to your room. You've added to your productivity.
Here you go. I'll do you one better.
Go.
When the season started, week 1, the Philadelphia Eagles added 2 people. One retired. One's now the starting running back because the starting running back pulled his hamstring. Bucky Irvin.
Yeah.
Always adding. They said, oh, we can get Bucky Irvin? Got Bucky Irvin. Saquon pulls his hamstring right as you're number 1 in the division. Guess what? Won't miss a beat.
Yeah, really impressive on what a lot
not
of
Bucky Irvin, but
I was going to say not
was
Bucky.
Brian
Tank
Bigsby.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. But your point is they added.
Yeah.
Okay. They saw the need.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness to Brad Holmes and the Lions, they're watching every day.
Yeah.
They're watching film every day. They know what they need and what they don't need. Now, we can talk about it all we want, and I will talk about it on the show, but as of right now, I think he has earned the right. He's earned my right anyway. I don't know about the fans, but he's earned my right to say, you know what, I trust you. I'll see what happens. My hope is you do address some area of need, because there is. Everybody's got an area of need before the trade deadline next Tuesday.
The one thing I will say, getting back to Aidan, the last thing I'll say about it, we can dive into what. Oh, I'm excited. We got a couple things today. We got a couple division situations I'll present. We got the top 10 teams that I'll present. But just talking about Aidan, I want to give Brad Holmes one last. I'm gonna finish with some credit. This is the compliment sandwich. I'll finish with the compliment. Kudos on them for drafting Aidan Hutchinson, and I don't say that lightly. Everybody's like, well, who else would they have drafted? There were a lot of guys out there. There was a lot of conversation. There was Kayvon Thibodeau.
Right.
There was some other offensive linemen at the time. There was some other wide receivers. There was a lot of players that they could have drafted that they thought about that were in the conversation. Aidan Hutchinson there was a lot of conversation out there about who he was, which is a one-trick pony. That was what they kept trying to push the whole draft process. Lions didn't care about the University of Michigan. They didn't care about his father being that close and growing up down the street. They took him because they felt he would be the best player for what they were trying to do. I disagreed at the time, and I'm here to say I was wrong. You look at what he is when he's healthy. They saw what they saw, and I now see what they saw. So kudos to Brad Holmes, because they didn't have to draft Aidan Hutchinson, realistically.
Yeah, they didn't draft him because he played football and lacrosse at Divine Child.
They did not.
They didn't draft him because he was a star at the University of Michigan. Nope. And you're right. I mean, there was a lot of Sauce Gardner's from Detroit. Yeah, he went 2 picks later. He could have gone right
down the street.
Just down the street.
Thank you, Jeff Okudah.
Thank you, Jeff Okudah, or not. To your point,
Stingley,
Derek Stingley, who's turned out to be a hell of a player. Yeah. So there's plenty of them if you want to go offensive line and so on and so forth. But I think in addition to Brad Holmes and the Lions drafting him, kudos to him, because he's made himself a better player too. You have said that. You know him well. The Michigan blood is true. It's blue, and he and you have this kindred spirit. But I'm telling you, man, you knew he had to make himself better. You had to make yourself better. Just because you're third overall doesn't mean you come in and you're going to light things up. All the greats recognize their deficiencies and make themselves better. He's part of that.
And when we first started doing the show together, a legitimately conversation we had about would they extend him, would they not extend him, did he want the money, what was going on. And I told you, I said, Shep, I know the type of person Aidan is. Aidan's not worried about the money.
You said that.
I said, Aidan's gonna do what he's supposed to do to be the best that he can be, and everything else is gonna come with it. When you believe, it follows. And that's what happens in faith, and that's what happens with him on that football field. He just did his thing. He got back, he got healthy, he tapped in, he saw what Kelvin Shepard, what this defense wanted to be, saw what his role was going to be in it, executed for the first 6 weeks, and now they come to him and say, yo, we got the deal locked and loaded. I guarantee his response was, okay, cool. Where do I sign? Let's get back to football, because that's not what I care about right now. What I care about is Minnesota Vikings, because with those tackles being out, with those quarterbacks being where they are,
he's going to eat.
And he just got paid. I'm predicting 3.5 sacks.
And he's going up against one of his old teammates. And by the way, be all you can be. That is not a special forces tagline for him to get you to sign up for the Army. That is true blue stuff right there. Just like it's special to deal with Ven Johnson, right? Absolutely.
That's a good transition. First read.
Elite transition.
Man, 38 degrees. I appreciate that elite transition. The fighter is Ven Johnson Law. So let Ven Johnson Law and his crew, let them fight for you. Look, insurance companies will try to withhold your responsibility in matters. Man, don't let them. They will minimize theirs and try to withhold your compensation. Don't allow them to do that. Be the fighter. Make Ven Johnson the very first call that you make, because he and his crew can make it happen for you. They fight for everything, but they're going to get you the settlement. They're going to get you the verdict. They're going to get you the decision that you want, that you need. And remember, they're not just trial attorneys. They want all the smoke. Settlement, case, trial, they do it all. VenFights.com.
Well, you need fighters for you. We know that. And you need people who you believe in. You want to believe in somebody who's going to deliver good food, a variety of beers, and if you're like me, you want to watch games while you're at a bar. I don't want a back corner booth where we can have a quiet conversation. I want to be middle of the floor where we're watching a ton of different games together, drinking another beer, and asking for more apps. That's at Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill. 6 locations throughout the state of Michigan. We were just there last week for the Michigan State Showdown. How much fun was that? It was a blast because of the 80 TV sets, the 22 draft beers on tap, and the specials. Tonight, fajitas and margaritas. It's a Wednesday. That's what you get at Art and Jake's Sports Bar and Grill. Join their fan club today. Download the app, Art and Jake's, and make every game day, a winning day.
You heard about me, word of mouth. Now soak it in, baby, and check me out.
Check this out. The brand new model year has arrived at Feldman Chevrolet, and nobody has more inventory. That's why we're Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. With the biggest selection at the lowest prices, there's never been a better time to check us out. Check out this 2026 Silverado for just $179 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for just $229 a month. So check us out, because around here, it's fun being #1.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and SHEP Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
We're all strong here on this planet, but you can be even stronger if you go to Planet Fitness, and that's because there's no judgment here. So you come here, you get your journey started the right way. We'll take that strength and we'll execute it into mind, soul, and body. But everybody there is dope. And then there's trainers on staff to figure out what you want to do, help you along this journey. There's no judgment. There's squeaky clean lockers. And then the equipment is brand new. It is up to date. I love the machines. I just love the people and the vibes. Over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is the gym for you. Over 2,700 locations worldwide. You know it for real.
Sundays in Detroit, Saturdays in Detroit. Okay, every day that ends in a Y in Detroit and the state of Michigan get a lot smoother with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, and of course our network, Woodward Sports Network. Real vodka, real iced tea, no bubbles, just a clean, crisp sip that's not going to fill you up on game day or even off game days. Only 100 calories, folks. It's the perfect drink for tailgates. It's the perfect drink while you're playing golf on a hot day. This season, let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser and Woodward Sports, and please drink responsibly.
And we back.
Always want to make sure we get to the good folks in the chat. They deserve to be heard, especially the Super Chats, as Braylon turns the hat around and looks like Will Smith of the Dodgers.
We're getting closer and closer, man, to my conversation, so I'm getting excited.
Oh, I thought you were getting closer and closer to Game 5 of the World Series, and you wanted to be the catcher tonight.
Oh, I thought y'all was talking about the Pistons and Magic game tonight.
You know, I'm the good luck charm for the Pistons, man. Like, usually when I go down to LCA, man, they get some really, really, really good wins. So I'm saying, last year, the Mavericks game, I know Luka didn't play, but I saw that team.
That's a big reason.
But in my opinion, I like how this team plays together.
Look, man,
I saw that night, and Kool-Aid remembers, because I called him after that game where I texted one of the two, and I said, "Oh no, I saw you."
Yeah, we were there together.
Because that's when the commission was in the building.
Yeah,
that's when that was an interesting night.
Yeah,
because legitimately, I go down to the Dallas Mavericks game. Luka, they announced he's not playing. That's fine. I'm still gonna go. Anthony Davis is playing, or not Anthony Davis, but whoever else. And then I'm talking to Jalen. What's going on, Jalen? Hey, what's going on, fam, man? Come over here. So I'm chilling in like the underneath suite. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
I know you do.
Big money.
So, right, 100%. So I go in there.
Shout out to the Players Club.
Just make yourself at home, chill. So it was me and my boy Jeff. What up, Jeff? I know he's watching the show. And we're chilling. I'm talking about before I can get to the little bartender that was in there. You got the TV, got the bartender right there, got the food over here. Before I could say, hey, let me, Jalen comes in. Hey, what's up, fam? Yo, you got to get up out of here, man. I was like, and I saw who was behind him. It was Adam Silver. I was like, all right, well, I appreciate that, Jay. I said, I'll see you out there in the court. I didn't think anything of it. Like, I should have been like, why is Adam Silver here? Why am I getting anyway? Fast forward, was it that Saturday? I think it was that Saturday.
The trade?
The trade happened. Because that game was a Friday night. The trade was Saturday night, so anyway. But I digress.
Well, I hope you bring him better luck than I did on Monday, because I was at that absolutely whitewashing of Cleveland. Oh, and Jalen was there, too. Yeah. Jalen Rose was there, standing in front of people who paid for tickets and can't see around him. But anyways,
man, lay off my boy.
No, it was good. It was good to see him. No, I said hello to him. He's a good dude. I play in his golf outing every year. He is. He's a really good dude.
He's like the Pistons. I'm not quite like with the Lions. I was gonna say he's like the Pistons, like how I am with the Lions. Like, you would assume that I played for the Lions, not necessarily. Like Jalen, you think he played for the Pistons?
Oh, for sure.
Like but I appreciate that about him.
Yeah,
I mean, you played with most of the Lions.
Yeah, I know he was.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
100%. So.
Yeah. Let's get to the super chat. And speaking of Orlando, by the way, who everybody said, and it's way too early, okay, but everybody said what? Oh, this team's going to be a top 3 team. It's going to be a top 4 team.
They
in
made
the
a
East.
move.
They've lost 3. They've lost 3 in a row.
Doesn't matter. Desmond Bain, Piston Killer, is on the way. They better be on it, man, or else that guy is going to have a field day.
But it's 82 games. We got to trade lightly, because remember when LeBron and Chris Bosh all got to Miami and they still sucked for the better part of the first 30 games of the season? So it takes a
I don't remember that. They sucked for 30 games?
They didn't have their together for the first 30 games of the season, and they had some losses early on in the first 10, 15 games, and then they would have a couple wins, couple losses, wins, and figure it out. Just the first year, that was 2011. Gotcha. It took them a second to kind of gel now. Yeah. They about to fact check it. I'm going to be wrong.
As soon as he had the decision on TV, I went, I'm out. Go ahead.
Yeah. The king. God. Randall Smalls, $5 super chat, and he early has the #1 crown amongst our top fans, says, this is why I don't want Brad to risk too much any year. I want to contend for 10+ years. Shout out to Randall Smalls.
You don't think he wants to contend for 10 years? You think he's like, I'm good. I win this. I'm good.
I'm already the best GM in Lions history.
Yeah, right. Well, there's no doubt about that. It didn't take him long. That was a low bar.
Yeah, very true. Some moves you have to make, when you're trying to build your franchise a certain way. Like, he's trying to build it in a different image. So it's not about what you want. I llove you, Randall. It's not about what I want or Shep want. It's about what the individuals that had this plan. This plan got us from Quinn Tricia in 2020 to where we are now. So
Scary
I agree,
times.
but they're paying the ones that they're supposed to play. When you have Aidan Hutchinson just don't fall off trees. Penei Sewells just don't fall off trees. What Amon-Ra St. Brown means as a teammate, as a player, as his position, and just as an all-around player, Kirby Joseph, what he did. So when you have the opportunity to play these cornerstones for your franchise, the money sounds like a lot, but guess what? It's not.
I think before the year started, so who did he sign this year to the extension? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Kirby, didn't he?
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams.
Amon-Ra and
was in the offseason.
Was last year.
Was last year.
Yeah,
okay.
him and Goff and Penei were the big three last season.
So it's Kirby Joseph this year.
And J-Mo.
Jamison Williams this year.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And now Aidan.
And then
Dave Montgomery, but that was during the season last year.
Yeah, that was during the season last year. So we had, I believe, a little bit of a discussion where who's next? How does it go in order? And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but there are 3 names left that you figure are the core of this franchise and are among the best at what they do.
JC,
Jack Campbell, right?
BB.
Sorry. Brian Branch, yep, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. I don't know why my brain was
I suppose Sam Laporta would be the 4th. That's unfair of me to forget him. So my apologies.
Sam's payable. Sam is payable.
I've heard from people who
they'll let him go.
Well, he's not fully confident they can afford him. His words. I've heard that.
Dang, man, that might be the casualty.
Well, I mean, there may be more than that. I don't know. Okay, and I'm not saying I'm right here. That's just what I've heard from people who are associated with him. Look, I hate to put it this way. You can't always do this, especially in the NFL. But remember, there was a time during the Tigers back in the day when they chose Anibal Sanchez over Max Scherzer. You know, one's on a ranch and one is pitching in the World Series. So sometimes you can't make them all happy, but you got to find the right ones.
Yeah, this is true, and we knew this was going to be the case. We talked a little bit about it as it relates to the Detroit Lions becoming a better team, and now they're not fielding calls, or now they're not accepting individuals trying to get there. Same thing's going to happen with players that you draft, players that you pay. You can't pay everybody, and you're going to draft some guys that are going to turn into some really good players. Thing about Sam Laporta, look, I know he's a guy who fell in love. The 2023 season was amazing. It was miraculous and the whole 9 yards. Tight ends are replaceable, and unfortunately, if he gets himself into if he puts himself in a situation where they're not going to bring him back, the Lions will be fine. I think the Lions will find another tight end out there. I think he's a really good tight end, but in this wave, in this space now in football, tight end is a very desirable position. Like tight end in terms of what kids are playing in high school, college, the whole 9 yards. So there are a lot of tight ends out there. You see a lot of rosters now that have 3 really good tight ends. Hell, Buffalo Bills, they have 4 tight ends.
Yeah.
You know, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're using 4. What's his name? Patrick Mahomes. He uses 3 at all times. Yeah, Cade Otton is another guy. Down in Tampa, they have 3-4 tight ends that Baker likes to use. So I'm not saying that a Sam Laporta is a dime a dozen, because he is not. However, a tight end to operate within this team structure and the players that we have, you don't necessarily need someone as good as Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to have these debates with friends of mine who believe tight ends were, luxury positions. I don't feel that way any longer. I think they're vital. So you and I can have a good debate on that. I think they're a lot more important than they ever used to be. What Shannon Sharp said on a podcast not too long ago, he said, when I played, there was only 2 or 3 of me.
Right.
Now there's a lot more. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Sam Laporta is part of that, Travis Kelce, Tyler Warren. We could go on and on, right? I think they're a lot more important these days in the NFL than they ever have been.
That's true, but realistically, what does Sam Laporta do that you can't find in another player? Like Sam Laporta has done, when you watch the game, he does nothing special to where I'm like, I can't lose that guy. Like, and this is not knocking him, but what has he done? He's cut a lot of wide open passes, a lot of schematically schemed open things, and he's made a couple nice run after catches. He has short hands, I'll give you that. But what does he do?
He's a good blocker. He's a good blocker too, and that's part of the position,
But I'm saying, special. Like when you talk about losing players and being afraid to lose a player, I'm only afraid to lose a player I can't replace. And when I look at Sam Laporta, we thought that about T.J. Hockenson, and here comes Sam Laporta. I just think he doesn't jump off the page.
Yeah, I did. Personally, I didn't feel that way about Hutchinson because I didn't think he was a very good blocker. You brought up the other day Tucker Kraft because of your.
He's a monster, fantasy.
Yeah, because you're a fantasy guy. You
I would be afraid to lose him. I would be afraid to lose him. Like when you see his yards after catch, like the man runs like a wide receiver. Like he plays the game kind of like Kelsey, but more aggressive than what Travis Kelsey was. I would be afraid to lose him. I'd be afraid to lose Brock Bowers. I'd be afraid to lose Tyler Warren. I'd be afraid to lose. I'd figure out another tight end. I wouldn't be afraid.
Dallas Goedert.
I wouldn't be afraid to lose Dallas Goedert. I think he's extremely good, but I think he operates within the space of the running game, what they do, the quarterbacks, and being that first option when Jalen Hurts looks to run and they look, oh, here's Dallas Goedert for 5 yards and he turns into 17, or he's open in the middle. I wouldn't be afraid to lose him. Trey McBride, I'd be afraid to lose him.
So based on that, is it fair to assume that you don't feel like Sam Laporta is a top 5 tight end? If you're not afraid to lose somebody at their position, then they can't be as valuable at that position as others.
So, yes. Okay. I don't think he's a top 5. I think that he's statistics. Statistics don't always matter.
You're right.
Like, I think if you're telling me who the top 5 tight ends, I don't think he's top 5. And if you think he is, and that's fine. I still don't think he's irreplaceable, if you will.
Okay.
Because Trey McBride is better than him. Tyler Warren, although year 1, is better than him. Brock Bowers is better than him.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Tyler Warren. I'm going to reserve some judgment there.
Tucker
I think
Kraft,
he's really
better
good.
than him.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft, absolutely. I get it. Trey McBride, I completely agree with that. Right. But then you're getting into, really narrow, a really narrow focus there of just 4 or 5 guys. I think he's right there. I think he's. I do think he's probably a top 5 guy in his position.
Okay, that's fine. Let me re-say this then. You don't need a top 5 tight end as the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
That's more so what I mean.
There you go.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, what you do on the offensive line, and then Jay Moore on the opposite side. You don't need a top 5. It helps you. It makes you that much more dangerous. But if it's a matter of who's getting paid, is it Brian Branch, is it Sam Laporta? Bye, Sam.
Copy. Okay.
Bye. I'm sorry, but bye. Because you can find a tight end 11 to do what you're doing right now.
Joe Bus 25 says, I think you guys are devaluing the catches that Sam has made in critical times.
It's not devaluing. I think he's legitimate at his position. I'm not denying it, but I'm just simply saying someone else can make those catches. Outside of the touchdown in the back of the end zone, nobody's making that.
Can other players make the same catches as Amon-Ra St. Brown does across the middle?
No, because other players can't play like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, they're not going to care enough about an offense to know it better than the quarterback. Like, Jared Goff doesn't know the offense better than St. Brown does. Now, I'm just saying a little over-exaggeration for effect.
Yeah.
But it's not far off. So, no, it's not about, I can go out and get Tez Johnson from the Buccaneers. Tez ain't going to come here and quarterback the offense at the wide receiver position. So, no, I'm not saying it like that.
Fair enough. Anything else in the chat, Kool-Aid, that we need to get to during this conversation right here? It's an interesting one about the tight ends too. I don't know what moves you in that regard. When you say big catches, is it first downs? Is it spectacular grabs? I don't know. I think Sam Laporta's got 16 first down catches. Tyler Warren's got like 21. I don't know if that matters. I don't know what numbers I can use to support my philosophy or what you could use. Yours is a professional football eye test. Period. Okay.
Not even just that. I guess it is that
it is.
Because if I say it's a feel,
it is.
There's
nothing wrong with that. I mean, hell, you played 8 years in the damn league, of course. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If anybody should have an eye test, it should be you.
You get that, Bray?
Just for the money's sake. Like, if we're talking about the money that's coming down to it, it's talking about between he and Brian Branch. I'm looking at it through that lens. Does he jump off the page to make me not want Wolverine or Weapon X, excuse me, which is the same person?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. He does not do enough things for me not to want Brian Branch. Okay. So if it's him, then I'm sorry. He's a great player.
You got to make a choice.
He's going to go somewhere and make somebody super good.
Yeah.
Eagles did the same thing. Zach Ertz is better than Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
But when he got Dallas Goedert, did they change? No. The ship kept humping. And Zach Ertz is still doing his thing. He had to go to Cardinals. Yep. He had to get to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
He's my backup on fantasy. I appreciate Zach Ertz. But they moved on from Zach Ertz when Zach Ertz was like still prime-ish. If we're talking prime, he still was at the E. He was at the start of the E, and they moved on for Dallas Goedert. And now Dallas is a decent, he's a really good tight end. That's more on the line of what I mean.
Good.
Like, Zach Ertz didn't jump off the page. You know what I mean? He just put himself in a class of only 4 tight ends, 800 catches, 806. And he's got the yards. He's got the stats. He has all of that. And they still said, look, we love you.
Yeah.
We love you, Zach. But a little bit of money issues. We got some other places that we want to spread this cheese. We like Dallas. I think he learned under you a little bit. We're going to rock with Dallas. We'll see you later. And that's what they did.
It's a great example.
That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, great example. Washington's glad they had him, but for a price, you're right. I hear what you're saying. The difference there is they had Dallas Goedert. Detroit's got Brock Wright, with all due respect.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm glad that you did clarify that, because I think some people in the chat are believing that maybe you don't think Sam Laporta is that deal. You think he is, but that you don't want to see, obviously if Brian Branch or Sam Laporta, where you're going here.
Listen, stop getting so sensitive when people talk about your players. Like, I love the Detroit Lions. I got to say that for you. I think they are phenomenal. I think some players are better than others. I think Sam Laporta is phenomenal. But when you're talking about who can you keep, that's what my conversation is. It's the conversation of who can I keep. And if I get 2,
that's what it is.
If I have 2, then I'm looking at it from the space. I probably can find another person that can emulate some of the things that Sam Laporta does. I don't know if I can find another Brian Branch.
Yeah, here's some of the comments from the people, man. And I see Attila, the Hun Detroit. He's just going. He said, look, man, that one-handed catch and that one-handed catch in the back of the end zone was pretty impressive. If Laporta was the number 2 option, then you would be afraid to lose him as well. Jordan from MI, he says Tucker Kraft is 1-2. He's really, really good. But as it relates to Sam Laporta, Jordan from MI, he kind of agrees with you. He says tight ends are important, but there are levels to it. Compared to other sports, in my opinion, Browers and McBride and maybe that kid in Indy are in a group of their own. Then there's really good guys who just fit systems. So, yeah, it's definitely some support for Sam Laporta in here being one of those guys. But I'm glad that you clarified it as to say, look, this is about the fact that Brad Holmes is drafted so well that you may not be able to keep one of those guys if it came down to it.
It's a good debate. It really is. It's healthy, and it's what I think is most important about debates is, can I make you think? And you've made me think. Yeah. So I appreciate that. The only thing I would say is, if you're not going to reward him, you better make sure you draft one pretty soon. When we come back,
ton of tight
yeah, I know.
Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson's really good.
David Njoku.
That's what I mean.
Schultz, Cade Otton, Kyle Pitts, who never gets the ball because his quarterback suck. Pat Freiermuth. Mark Andrews' old self is still holding on. Hunter Henry's even older. He's still holding on.
Yeah.
I mean, like what? Laporta broke the record, and then a year later, Bowers got the record.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think they're valuable, man. I think they're really valuable. I with all due respect to wide receivers, one wide receiver, the wide receiver 1 is elite, right? I mean, that's the one that's tough. All the other wide receivers, you can find some guys.
The difference today is like with the tight end position, whereas back in the day when it was a bigger position, he really, really had to block, and he passed, a little bit unless you were Tony Gonzalez, unless you were certain players. The guys that were that size, a lot of them wanted to play wide receiver. Like, a lot of them wanted to be treated like wide receiver. They said, I'm too big. I can't play wide receiver.
Right.
I'll play tight end. Or I'll go on the defensive side of the ball, and I'll play defensive end. I'll do those things. See, now, because it's a faster position, like, there are a lot of guys in that tweener size, like, man, I want to get active like a wideout, but I can play tight end. And you know what tight ends have? They have that unfair advantage. Because now tight ends are running 4-4. Now tight ends are moving faster. They have the hips. They have the wiggle and the shape. When they go against linebackers in the slot, they're killing them.
And linebackers,
they're killing safety.
Yeah, and linebackers are different. You and I have talked about this before. They used to be big and thick, and now they're a little more slight. They can move sideline to sideline. That's why Ray Lewis was such a freak. And Jack Campbell's probably the exception to the rule. You see guys who are they're not quite as big. They almost were like safeties back in the day, and now they're linebackers. So would you rather have a wide receiver 2 or a tight end 1? What's more valuable, or does that depend on the offense?
What's my wide receiver 1 look like?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, give me
Jamar Chase.
Give me tight end 1.
Okay.
Like, I'm honest now. I ain't stupid. Like, if you have wide receiver like that, give me a tight end 1. But if you have a wide receiver like that, and you can get a T. Higgins, and now you have that dynamic. You can get a Devontae Smith,
Right.
and now you have that. You can get a Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
and you got that dynamic. You can get insert one of the receivers in Tampa because you have Mike Evans. Well, when he was healthy, you had Emeka Ibuka, you had Chris Godwin. So if you can get it like that.
To your point, and look at, Mike Gesicki in Cincinnati had a great year last year because you had two really good wide receivers. You would take the money going to Chase and Higgins and give the scraps to Gesicki and still be successful rather than.
I don't know why he hasn't worked in the NFL. Like everybody's gotten rid of him more. Like it's just always weird. Like he's so athletic as a tight end.
I thought he was a really good player at Penn State.
He went to Miami. That ruined him.
Yeah, I think that ruins a lot of players.
Ruin you.
When we come back, what about Make the Case? Can we play a little game called Make the Case? And we've got Braylon's top 10. What were you going to say?
No, nothing. We'll talk after.
Okay. Make the case, and then Braylon's top 10. Wait till you see who he's got on his top 10 when we come back after this from Smoothie King and Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Recovery is where the winners are made. And Smoothie King has the clean ingredients, real fruit, and protein to help us refuel and come back even stronger every time. You got to try out the new smoothies. The smoothies are fire. We also love the Smoothie High School Athlete of the Week. We got a great one for you. We got an in-studio guest as part of the Smoothie King High School Athlete of the Week because he's a parent, but he also may have used to play football for a team that you guys know. So that's going to be a lot of fun on Friday. Don't miss it every Friday. With special shout out to the Lee Foundation for making this possible. Lee helps provide student athletes with the tools to excel in reaching their academic and athletic goals as they impact their community. See you Friday.
It's getting colder out there. That means you need to get warmer. You want to make sure that your furnace is tuned up properly. You want to make sure you got heating throughout your home, don't you? There's no better people to call than the people at Sharon's Heating and Air Conditioning, proudly serving Metro Detroit for over 40 years. And yes, specializing, and I use that word literally, specializing in heating, cooling, air quality, water heaters, whole home generators. And right now, if you're a DTE gas customer, you get a free furnace tune-up through December 1st. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or call them today. 734-238-3839 to make an appointment. 734-238-3839 and tell them the Braylon Edwards Show sent you.
The Super Bowl parade in Detroit will be one for the record books. Detroit just does it different. Woodward Sports, your official Super Bowl or Bust Lions network. The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Dr. Pierce is the injury insider here at Woodward Sports. He's the guy you should know because he's the guy you trust. He's the guy that we trust here. And any diagnosis you need, whether it's your shoulder, whether it's your back, whether it's your neck, your knee, your ankle, He'll get you the proper diagnosis so you can be on your way and get your body back to 100%. But he also works with his foundation, which is Athletes Unlimited. It's a Michigan-based nonprofit, and it has one simple mission: breaking down barriers so everyone can experience the joys of sports. Now, we're doing a Topgolf event. This is on November 6th. It's going to be a hell of an event. We want to give you an opportunity to win a free bay. If you know what that is, look it up. Topgolf Bay, give you a free one. All you got to do is send in your best impersonation of Dan Campbell after a win. They are about to beat the brakes off the Minnesota Vikings this week. Do your best impersonation. You send it in to Kool-Aid at woodwardsports.com. The best one, and also has to be by Friday, Halloween. You have to send it in by Friday, Halloween. The best one will get the bay for next Friday at Topgolf. We will see you there.
Pretend you're giving, during that imitation, pretend you're giving Kool-Aid the game ball for what he just did during the game. That might get you into the mix.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like how Shep is thinking.
You know what I like? I like Buddy's Pizza.
That's no
we all
surprise.
I like it a lot. Yeah, I like it a lot. Let's have a battle. Who likes it more? All I know is when you look at that picture
I think
right
it's
now,
you, Shep.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that your taste buds don't start to water. Don't tell me your stomach doesn't start to growl. Don't
I
tell
need
me
that.
that you don't want that. Absolutely, you do. They are the original. They do it better than anybody else, and they're going to save you some money right now. The promo code 10MEAL. Do that. Put that into your order, and you get 10% off your entire order. They are the original Detroit-style pizza, and nobody does it better than Buddy's. Go to buddyspizza.com.
And we back.
Let's do it.
Let's do let's do your top 10 here. Can we?
Oh, skip the division, huh? You want to go top 10?
I'll do whichever one you want.
Okay.
I hope you're ready for a little debate, though.
I don't mind.
Top 10.
I don't mind.
Good. So, which do you want to do first? The division or the top 10? I'm excited for both.
Let's do the division because the division does not represent the rankings, if that makes sense. Because I got some guys leading divisions that, Shep, they don't even make the top 10.
Really?
Ah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
See?
All
So let's
right.
do divisions first. Pop those up there if you can. Shout out to my girl Brittany who made the graphics. I appreciate that. Brittany got us together. We didn't even have to use Kool-Aid. We didn't have to use Ryan, man. I came with my own stuff today. Ladies and gentlemen, when the season started, I
Looks really sharp.
Hey, Google Pro, shout out. Or Gemini Pro. When we started the season,
AI.
maybe it looked a little different. The AFC, I think the AFC East looks the same. Let me start over. Here we go. We'll start AFC. AFC East, I know everybody's hot on the New England Patriots right now, as you should be. Drake May is a damn good quarterback, and I appreciate what he and Vrabel are starting there. But the key word is starting and building. Buffalo has already built it, so I'm going to stick with them in the East at the spot, even though they've already lost to the New England Patriots.
You know, can I just say something real quick on that? Everybody rips, and I do too, rips on Buffalo's defense. New England's defense has given up the same amount of points as Buffalo's.
Yeah.
The difference is New England's played one more game. Yeah. New England's offense has scored more points than Buffalo's. Again, one game in hand, but still, it tells you how good New England has been. The Patriots have also, this kind of pops the bubble on home field advantage. They're 4-0 on the road. They're 2-2 at home.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. The other thing about the Bills is James Cook has been unreal, right?
Yeah.
He's been really good. So they talk a lot about Josh Allen, and they talk about certain aspects. I don't think their defense is good enough, but their running game and passing game, and you've mentioned this before, you got to have a number one. They don't have one. They're still pretty good.
For the Buffalo Bills, too, what I'll add is they got Oliver back on the defensive line, and
Yep.
he is a difference maker.
He's good.
He is a breaking ball, and good to have him back if you're Buffalo, and you saw that last game. So I understand what they are now, but stick with Buffalo. This is going to be interesting. Everybody's like, well, Baltimore, it is what it is. I told you up here, I'm just waiting for the Steelers to implode. I'm waiting for it to fall off. They have a lot of players on their team that are 35+. Like, they're an older team. They're going to have injuries. They're going to have nicks. I understand how those bodies start to activate when you get to December, when you get to January. And I think Baltimore, they couldn't play defense.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with Baltimore is they could not play defense. Well, I saw a defense last week. I saw a defense that wanted to figure some things out. They got some guys back, and then you know who comes back this week. Even though they're 2-5, that division's still up for grabs. Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I like what Tyler Huntley looked like. I can only imagine what LJ8 will look like. South, I think that's a no-brainer. They only have to talk about that. The Colts 7-1 number record in the NFL. And they have an MVP candidate. Scratch that. 2 MVP candidates. So they're there. The West, gotta go with the Chiefs. I gotta go with the Chiefs. People want to talk about maybe the Denver Broncos. Well, the Denver Broncos had the reigning, defending Defensive Player of the Year, correct?
Correct.
If I told you that your defense lost the Defensive Player of the Year, would you start to think twice about defense a little bit?
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain is out the rest of the season.
They also traded a corner.
And 100%. So I also still have not bought into the completion of Bo Nix. So
really,
not yet. Like to beat Patrick Mahomes for the division, no.
Okay.
Like when I'm saying buying in, I'm saying they're not going to beat them this year. Now, if you want to tell me in a couple years that they'll be the team, fine. But not this year. This is this year's projection.
Within his first couple of years, I saw this earlier today. Surprising. Bo Nix is responsible for 52 touchdowns.
Yep.
It's the 4th most by any player within that time span in NFL history. That, to me, that blew my mind. Remember this. Kansas City and Denver play twice.
Yeah, they do.
They still have 2 more times because they haven't clashed yet.
Right.
And Baltimore has not played Pittsburgh yet.
Yeah.
So I think the easy thing to do is pick New England because they're in first. I think the hard thing to do is pick Baltimore. It's hard to go against Kansas City. You're 100% right.
To your point, because I know what comes next, they have to go on a 10-game run. Like they put themselves behind
Baltimore.
the
You're saying?
Well, both of them.
Oh.
Kansas City and essentially Baltimore, more so Kansas City. But yeah, they got to do a lot in that time frame. There are a lot of games and a lot of opportunities. But I'm just judging by experience. Like I'm judging Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Like I'm judging what Sean McDermott and Josh Allen understand how to do in November, in December when the a-holes get tight. It get real tight in December. And when you haven't been there, you haven't done that, it's different. So I got to go with experience in that range. And then it's Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, the guys I'm lobbying for.
Yeah, I feel like people have forgotten that, first of all, Kansas City's only, what are they, a game back? So it's not a big deal.
They're 5-3 against 6-2.
Yeah, and they have the second lowest scoring defense in the AFC. Only Houston's defense has surrendered fewer points than Kansas City's. Yeah. So that tells you something. I can't go Baltimore, even though I understand the pedigree, but there's really nobody else in the division because I don't believe in Pittsburgh. But I understand why you pick Baltimore. It's just really hard for me to conceive that these guys could actually make it all the way back the way they have. I'm going to stick with Denver in the West. Yep. I think Kansas City makes the playoffs, but I'm going to stick with Denver right now because I think their defense is really good. They've got great coaching, and I think there is an it factor with Bo Nix from what we've seen so far. Look, at some point, people feel like you've got to buy in. You and I have had the conversation. Yeah. When is that? I don't know. But they won 10 games a year ago. They've got 6 wins right now. He's got 16 W's. Jaden Daniels has got 1 less. I know it's not all on the quarterback because his defense really helps him. I think he's got some pretty good weapons. They've got a really good running game. I like Denver.
Really good running game.
Denver.
No, they don't. J.K. Dobbins can't run the ball. R.J. Harvey, they're finding trick plays. That doesn't count as running.
Okay, all right.
It's trick play running. It's jet sweeps and have this play that they're not.
Jet sweep is a trick play now.
It's a gimmick play, is what I'm saying. It's a gimmick play. They're not lining up and running the ball. J.K. Dobbins has pissed me off all year long. So no, they can't run the ball, and that's where they struggle. That's how, you know why I know they can't run the ball?
Why?
Because if you could run the ball, you wouldn't have been in a situation with the Giants game where you had to come back. You wouldn't even been in that situation, but they couldn't run the ball. So that's another reason why. You can't run the ball, and you're a defensive player of the year, out.
Okay.
I got to take that into consideration.
Okay, so I should, just so we're clear, I'm not being a smartass here.
Here it comes.
They're 3rd in the league in rushing.
Yep.
Take it, forget it.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's a mirage.
Yeah, when your quarterback, Bo Nix, is running for 65 yards a game, that adds to it.
Okay, all right. But look, Buffalo's ahead of them. That's because Josh Allen runs. That's the way the game is.
Right.
All right? It's when I say they've got a good running game, it doesn't mean it's just running backs. They've got a good running game.
Fair.
And it sure doesn't, to your point, it sure doesn't solidify much because the Jets are number 2. So that's not saying a whole lot. Yeah. So I think they've got some pretty good balance. But go ahead. All right. So the NFC, go.
Eagles, as much as I want to supplant them, who are you supplanting them with? I don't trust the Commanders. I don't trust the Cowboys. And the Giants, nah. They just lost their best. Well, they lost one of their really good young and up-and players, which is Cam Scotty. I was about to disrespect the whole defense. I was about to say the best player. Yeah, my apologies. But, yeah, so you can't supplant anybody. Eagles, they get the nod. The North, I'll stick with Green Bay in terms of what they are now. You can argue about who the best is, but who beat them?
And you picked them at the beginning of the year. This is not front running by any
changing.
stretch. Right?
Yeah, and then you saw that last game. That last game was real. So I'm sticking with them in the North. The South, Tampa, Carolina, I love what they're doing. I love how they're being coached. I love how they're coming up. They don't have enough to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the long game, so you stick with
Atlanta's been a huge disappointment.
Yeah. And then the West, I think the West is easy, to be honest. I think it's the Rams. I think Seattle will be the second team. I think the 49ers, more of the chinks in the armor will start to show themselves, and they'll probably finish 9-8. But I definitely think it's Seattle and the Rams. And I just think because of the offensive side of the ball and the coaching, I think the Rams, I give them the nod there. So not a crazy division projection, but these are my division projections.
Yeah, I would. The only disagreement would obviously be the North for me because I think Detroit's the best team in football.
Right.
And to your point, it's not always about wins. It's not always about statistics. It's, like you said, a feel. I think Detroit's the best team in football, so obviously I would pick them to win the North.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
And they've got another one, yeah.
These rankings are going to be fun now.
Yeah.
See, now this sets the rankings up. So, where are you with this over at Kool-Aid? Outside of, I guess, the Kings in the North, where are you with this stuff?
No, I think it's pretty fair, man. As I look at the list, I wouldn't.
It's hard to argue with the NFC,
really
don't you think?
other than
It's really hard to argue with the NFC.
Yeah.
It's the only debates you may have with Braylon is really the
maybe
AFC.
the Ravens and maybe the North on both sides.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's like about it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, those are the teams he's been bullish on since before the season started.
Yeah, outside the Colts, who nobody predicted.
It's outside, I meant in terms of Ravens and Packers.
He picked all of these, and he picked all of these except for Indianapolis.
You know what's funny is I did not pick the Texans in my South. I actually picked the Jags.
Jags, yeah.
I actually picked the Jags, so I mean I was wrong.
But I'm sorry, I don't think outside of maybe the Indianapolis locker room, I mean, even people in Indianapolis didn't expect this.
No.
Not at all.
So what's that old saying? There's usually about 5 to 6 teams who make the playoffs one year, miss it the following year, right?
Yeah.
Houston might be on the short end of that. Indianapolis might be in there.
Speaking of Indianapolis, remember when the now owner, when she started using the clipboard, and she started having this, and it was the jokes, and it was the rave, and everybody said, look at this, that. I don't hear a lot of people cracking jokes anymore. I don't hear a lot of people laughing in the sense of the support from her team, and she's really not in the way. Like, it may be something new. It may be something annoying to us or to whoever the proverbial you is, but it ain't rocking with the it's not rocking the Colts boat.
Well, not from a winning standpoint. I don't know how they feel. It's not like they're going to come out and say, man, what is this lady doing on the sidelines?
She's taking an interest.
Right.
You want to just sit there and do nothing?
No, but look, if I'm going to rip on Jerry Jones for being front and center for everything, or Arthur Blank coming down in the fourth quarter and standing on the sidelines, I probably have to stay pretty consistent with that, don't I?
This is true, but what is she's there just in the fourth quarter, or is she there the whole game?
I thought she was there for the whole game.
Exactly.
But
No,
you're right.
She's consistent.
Yeah. No.
But is she in the way?
I don't think so. It doesn't seem
At
like
least not
it.
yet.
It doesn't seem like it.
To
me, it seems like
that was a good point. Because it's 7-1.
Yeah, it seems like if they were 1-7, people might be saying something different.
If they were 1-7, then they should be saying something different because the ball club sucks. they would be the Miami Dolphins.
All right, so this is a good list. If you got anything to say about that, deliver in the chat and smash that like button when we come back. Braylon's top 10. Plus, a little bit later on, of course, we've got the mailbag and the super chats. But first, from Les Stanford, who is super at what they do. Yeah, you're really good in the chat. They're really good at getting you into cars and affordable cars. Now, it varies for everybody, right? So you've got to have a really big inventory if you're going to do that, and Les Stanford has that massive inventory with good-looking vehicles. Look at that. Oh, baby, the 2025 Hummer EV SUT, $599 a month plus tax. The Lyric SUV lease special, $489 a month plus tax. And the Equinox EV lease special for only $229 a month. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory and see their website for even better deals. LesStanford.com.
And Jack's Car Wash is the #1 car wash in the state with over 40 locations around the great state of Michigan. The things that they do well, man, the free vacuum, the free compressed air, all of these are things that come with the program. And then if you get that unlimited plan, the $29.99 unlimited plan. The plan that allows you to car wash wherever you go to Jack's Car Wash whenever you want. A lot of rain, get that car wash. Get that unlimited plan. Gives you all the access to all the amenities. And then right now, we'll just get you a free car wash. WSN is what you'll text to 888-522-1729. Again, text WSN to 888-522-1729.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and SHEP Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air. Touchdown, Michigan!
And SHEP.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with SHEP, Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports. Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions!
If you're looking for that ultimate pickleball experience, then you got to check out Wicked Pickle. It's Metro Detroit's hottest indoor pickleball spot. They got 10 climate-controlled courts, daily open play for all levels. I feel like they're looking right at us, Ryan. And a chill lounge with TVs, ping pong, and cold drinks. It's always game on, rain or shine. If you're throwing a party or a team event, they host groups from 10 to 200. Now, if you see that QR code on the screen, I need you to go ahead and scan that. It's important. Why? Because you don't want to miss the APA Michigan Gold Cup, November 22nd through the 23rd. Sign up at pickleballtournaments.com or at that QR code there. And mark your calendars for the Woodward Sports Pickleball Party, January 9th. Details are coming soon. And you know what? I know what I'm doing after that January 9th pickleball party. Just probably hitting that massage chair.
Yeah, you probably should. I think a lot of people will be hitting that massage. Yeah. It's going to be a hot ticket, and it's a hot ticket for you as well. If you're looking to upgrade your relaxation game, head over to Massage Chair House, located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. They are the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the wellness doc, and the creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan that QR code on your screen. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
We back.
More and more national people, after the signing of Aidan Hutchinson, are recognizing what we have said for a while now. Albert Breer, CBS Sports, I believe, says Detroit has they've built the organization the way you're supposed to build an organization for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
And I don't think. You know, sometimes I've been critical of Detroit in general feeling the need for a pat on the back, the need for, we need some national love. We need positivity, right? Why is everybody picking on us? Boo-hoo-hoo. And I don't think that's necessarily fair or the right way to go about it. But when you see a national person coming out and saying, look, this is how you're supposed to do things in the National Football League. Direct quote. Detroit's built a fantastic, what they've done is a fantastic example of what you can do if you hit on draft picks. You have the ability to go to them early, existing years, fold existing years into extensions, and keep your team together. Easier said than done, but good on the Lions for being aggressive in paying their guys. It's very similar to what the Atlanta Braves did way back in the day with Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, and players like that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but who cares? Like, at the end of the day, they've been doing this. Like, I don't need, and we in the city, we don't need them to tell us what we already know. Like, where was this at 2 years ago when we were doing it?
Correct.
Where was this at when they re-signed Panay? Where was this when they re-signed? Where was this when they were doing it then? We don't need it now. Like, now it's become the moniker. Now it's become the staple because you see how the Lions are operating. And, yes, 100%, it's the right way to do things. It's the way you should do things. It's the way players when I was operating, when I was thinking, like, this is how I was like, why don't they just, why don't they, like, so, excuse me, I can't think, like, forward. Why not be forward? Why not just be honest? Why not just be forthright? Why not just tell me, hey, if you do this, this is what happens. If you don't, this is what happens. We got to play these games and dance around. So the Lions have not played games. They have not danced around with their players. They have been consistent since they came in with this new regime, and it's hitting on all cylinders. But, like, now they're just using it to write a story. Oh, this hit, Aidan signed. This will give me some good clicks and some good read. Should have been doing this because this isn't anything new to the great people of Detroit.
So here's another reason why I truly believe Detroit will identify and get something done. From the NFL cap report, the Lions have the fourth most space in terms of cap. It's the Patriots at $48.97 million, the Cowboys at $31, the Commanders at $26, the Lions at $24. The least cap space, Bills, Chiefs, Chargers, Dolphins, Colts.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I suck for the Dolphins.
Yeah. I could go further down the list. Quite honestly, I thought the Browns would be up there too because of the amount of money.
Deshaun.
Yeah. But that's not the case. Anyway, just wanted to pass that along to you. If that changes your mind or helps reinforce anything, love to hear from you in the chat, and make sure you smash that like button. Let's get to the top 10, shall we? Your top 10.
Everybody in your top 5. Everybody had a $250 million+ quarterback. The exception of one team, and that would be the Colts.
Yep.
But here we go. Top 10 teams. I guess
wow. Okay.
So hear me out. When you do the division projections, this is what I'm projecting the end of the season to look like. That's what I'm projecting when I did that. Those are my winners. So that means things have to happen in the next 10, 11 weeks for that to happen. This is just the rankings for right now. This is when I look at the NFL landscape based on the first 7 weeks of it, or 7 weeks of the season. This is what I think the order is right now, and the order is always what? Subject to change. Number 1 in the league right now. Let's go 10. 10 of the Denver Broncos. I told you I don't believe in them necessarily, and I definitely think that their defensive star and Patrick Surtain, DB1, DB1B in this league, that injury is going to affect them more ways than you know. Still not sold on not Cortland Sutton, but the wide receiver course. Some things in there. We'll figure it out. Buffalo Bills, they come in at number 9 for me. That's where they deserve to be right now. I don't necessarily think that they've gelled, but they're figuring it out. The Patriots beat them. We'll put them one spot ahead, playing some consistent, clean ball. Drake May is looking like a star, and the defense is playing physical. They're flying around. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're holding space right now. If this was arrows like on fantasy football or one of those things, they would be an even line right now, maybe even trending down. Maybe even trending down right now, but I still like what they have done during the season. They've had some hiccups, some injuries. But this is where they belong right now, coming in at number 6. Is that 6? Or is that 7? 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 7. Number 6 is Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they won their last game. They figured out Saquon Barkley, too, a little bit. He has gotten injured. But I think they've gotten some players
going
back.
downfield a little more.
100%. They're going downfield a little bit more. But they got some things they got to figure out. The distractions, that's what concerns me about the Philadelphia Eagles. Now we move to the top half of the league right now. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting currently at the number 5 spot. I think the offense, getting those weapons back, Rashee Rice, understanding how to use those guys, like, it is really, really helped them. Xavier Worthy is fully healthy. Travis Kelce, he even showed out. He's even starting to remind us of why he's been such a great tight end in this league. A lot of open plays too. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they're figuring it out, and I think they're a team that people don't want to see right now. Detroit Lions, they're number 4. That's where I have them right now. After a good win and a good bye week, sitting at 5-2, second in the division, I think the Detroit Lions are 4 right now, playing some good ball, and they got some good wins and some good opportunities coming up in the next 3-4 games of the season. Los Angeles Rams, you know how I feel about them. They get Puka Nacua back this week. They're at full strength. That defense is a monster in Gerard Verse. Also like what their secondary has been doing, Carnell Lake, and they went on and got 2 guys to add to that secondary that was lacking a couple of weeks ago. So I like what the Rams did.
They've surrendered the fewest points in the NFL.
100%. And the Indianapolis Colts, look, they're 7-1. Like, you can say what you want to about liking Daniel Jones, maybe not understanding, you don't want to buy in. That's you. I choose to buy in because this list is subject to change. Right now, what they're doing in terms of running the ball and on defense, the wide receivers, Daniel Jones is not only not messing it up, he's enhancing what they have. So I love what they're doing. 2 player of the year considerations, 1 MVP, 1 offensive. Because you know that's what's going to end up happening. Like Jonathan Taylor down the line, they're going to slide him to the offensive player of the year. We know how it goes. And Green Bay, I will put Green Bay 1. They still have the second best record in the league at, 6-1-1?
Yeah.
5-1-1. You saw what the last win looked like on offense as well as defense. And also they beat the Detroit Lions, who you say are a better team. That's fine. Currently, the Green Bay Packers did, whether it was week 1 or not.
They've won 3 in a row. Yeah.
So got them number 1. So this is my current top 10.
Okay. I don't there's
no Steelers, no Ravens in this list.
Well, no, nor should there be, but you are missing a team, and you're right. Green Bay's 5-1-1.
Oh, shoot.
You're missing Seattle. So Seattle, I don't know where you would put them, but
I would
they're playing good ball, and they're playing better ball. They're playing better ball than Buffalo is. So that's the only omission that I would.
Just like, okay, you're absolutely correct. My apologies. This is what happens when you try to do too much in the morning. Sorry. Put Seattle at 9.
And Buffalo at 10 or Denver at 10? Because you're not sold on Denver, you said.
I'm not sold on Denver.
Okay.
Just
so Denver's out, Buffalo's down, Seattle's in at 9.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not putting Seattle ahead of the Patriots just yet.
Yep. I get it. It's hard to argue with the list. You know how I feel about the Lions, but I'm not trying to disrespect Green Bay at all. 5-1-1 is still 5-1-1, and what they've done with their balance. I mean, defensively and offensively, that's what I think sometimes separates teams than anything else. When you've got a team like Detroit scores, all right, they don't give up many points. And in fairness, neither does Green Bay. They have both surrendered 150 points. That's pretty impressive, okay? So the Lions' defense, and remember, they've had more injuries than Green Bay's defense, that's for sure.
Right.
I think it's going to come along, and I think I understand why you got it the way you have it now. Subject to change is the most important phrase that you've uttered, because eventually, when all is said and done, that home team is going to be higher than where they are right now. No question. Speaking of the home team, I was looking at, we love these articles that give us mid-season projections or mid-season suggestions on who the MVP is and this, that, and the other thing. Every team is graded almost after every single week. Well, if you look at the SI, Sports Illustrated, they had their 2025 mid-season picks and predictions. All-pro 2025 mid-season picks. How many Lions would you guess are on a first or second team mid-season pick?
4.
For every single position they've gone. 4?
4.
Okay. Kool-Aid, how many would you say? So you got every position, 2 guys. Okay, so
every position is
every position. So you quarterback first team, quarterback second team. So the first team is Patrick Mahomes, second team is Matthew Stafford. Obviously, no Jared Goff. do that at each position. How many Lions are there?
Yeah, at least 3 or 4.
Okay, Ryan?
I'm going to go 4.
There's 2. There's 2.
Once you said it that way, 2.
Who are there?
Either your right tackle and your defensive end you just paid, or your right tackle and your wide receiver.
Okay, so it's your right tackle. I apologize. There are 3 because the wide receivers a second team. So it's Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jack Campbell.
Oh, I thought Campbell was going to be on there, but I thought it was going to be Gibbs instead of Campbell.
Well, their running backs are pretty solid. I mean, it's Jonathan Taylor. It's tough to argue that. Yeah. And then Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's got more catches than Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's got almost as many yards as Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, we all know what hurts Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
David Montgomery. But Christian McCaffrey's been unbelievable this year. He really has. Anyway, yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, they got him as a second-team wide receiver. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, and Jamar Chase, who leads all the football in receptions.
That's fair.
Okay. Number 2, second team is Justin Jefferson, George Pickens, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's fair.
Okay. So you're okay with that?
I am.
Penei Sewell is the standard. They've got him as the first team, and they've got Lane Johnson as the second team. And then
Lane Johnson missed
what's that?
Lane Johnson missed 3 games.
Yeah. And then when you've got now, I think from an edge rushing standpoint, Homer in me, okay. Aidan Hutchinson, I told you about his pass rush win rate. We know where he is in sacks. We know where he is in pressures. He's second in pressures, and he's not on first or second team. Their first edge rusher, Myles Garrett and Brian Burns. Tough to argue with Myles Garrett. All right. Nick Bonito and Byron Young as the second team. No Micah Parsons. How is that possible considering he's got 33 quarterback
Parsons
hurts?
And no Hutch?
Yeah.
How many sacks do these individuals
Goodness.
have?
Yeah. I think that's what matters. I think with this whatever you call it, what this article is basically trying to tell you, they don't value hurries. They don't value a lot of those stats that we throw out there to make a situation sound better. Oh, he's this. And
you're right.
They're like, how many are you getting to the quarterback? How many times are you getting to the quarterback? And I think that's what the earlier stuff in the season is. I think when you see these projections, Shep, in week 6, week 7, week 9, it's what the numbers look like. Like Brian Burns is killing it out there.
Yeah.
Bonito is killing it out there with the numbers. And obviously, big fella, 5 sacks.
Byron Young and Myles Garrett. Yeah.
Right.
All of them are top 4 in sacks.
And that's what it is.
Okay.
When you get to the
then why wouldn't Micah Parsons or Rashawn Gary be in there?
Because they probably don't like him. I don't know. Like that's what happens when you do things like this. It gets a little dicey, a little hairy because there is some hate.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
When you get to the end of the season, like when you're getting close, like now you're roping it down to not just the numbers. What have you done on that field? What is your team doing? Like, how does it look? Like, what is that film showing us as you get to when it's cold outside? When you're playing and it looks different. So right now it's just about the numbers and the sacks. Somebody don't like Micah Parsons along the way.
Could be, or they just feel like the other 4 guys are better. I don't know.
No way in hell.
Yeah, well,
ain't no way in hell.
If you're looking at sacks, I can't understand it either. Don't get me wrong. I don't get it. But you said you're not going to keep Garrett, and you're not going to keep Brian Burns is killing it, right? So there's 2 guys. Byron Young, for what it's worth, has more sacks, okay? And Nick Bonito, you mentioned 2. You mentioned 3 of those guys that you could understand. Basically, it's Byron Young you've got an issue with, and I get it. And if you're probably right because they're looking at sacks, he does have 9 sacks compared to 6.5. For Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is the linebackers, because we have talked about Jack Campbell for a long time. Their linebackers are Jack Campbell, Bobby Wagner, love him, and David Lloyd of Jacksonville. With the second team is Jamin Sherwood from the Jets, Demario Davis from the Saints, and Tremaine Edmonds for Chicago. There you go. And here's what they write about Campbell. Fills the stat sheet every week. The first-round pick of 2023, 64 tackles, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 pass defended.
What I said about Aidan Hutchinson and what I wanted to see to get that deal that he got, I wanted him to jump off the screen, correct? Mm-hmm. He does from time to time, and it's only going to get better. Jack Campbell has jumped off the screen the entire season. Like, when you watch the games, Jack Campbell has a player 2 or 3 that you're like, my boy Jack can play. That boy Jack Campbell, and that's what you wanted to see him to take that next step. Like, was he going to take that next step? Yeah, we know he's a short tackler. Yes, we know he plays by the book. Yes, we know he now has the green dot and understand how. But like, are you going to bring it? Like, are you going to be one of those elite players that the Lions convinced me he was? That the Lions said, no, this is our guy. We want the 6'5", 250-pound outside linebacker. That's what we want. He's shown that legitimately this whole season, so he's deserving to be in that spot because he's played better than Aidan. If you want to talk about 6 weeks, and you can't compare player to player, but grade out, I guarantee you Jack Campbell has graded out higher than Aidan Hutchinson through 6 weeks.
And just to add to that, what you're saying there with Jack Campbell, was interesting to hear his comments during the offseason talking about the fact that he believed he was going to have a big year because of Kelvin Shepherd. He said he loves AG, but he thought one of the biggest differences was that he was able to connect better with Kelvin Shepherd.
Yeah.
And that he said he feels like he already has Kelvin Shepherd's mind in his mind. He's like, I already know what he's going to call. I already know where he wants me to be. And now the whole entire defense is now going to have that type of imprint on it. So I do believe that Kelvin Shepherd stepping up and being that defensive coordinator, everybody had some doubts. It's paying major dividends, and I do believe that Jack Campbell is one of the biggest beneficiaries.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because one of the big things is Shepherd is, we talked about this before the season started, is Aaron Glenn's a DB. Defensive coordinator, really good, great defensive coordinator. He's a DB. His DBs, they got better under him as a defensive coordinator and their guy. They were able to see it through his eyes. Same thing is happening now with Kelvin Shepherd and Jack Campbell.
You said this after week one. After the concern of Terrion Arnold against Green Bay, you came out and said Aaron Glenn was a cornerback and a really good one, and he spent a long time in the NFL, and his message probably resonates a little bit clearer for Terrion Arnold and maybe this year for DJ Reed as well. Whereas now with Kelvin Shepherd, you thought the linebackers,
look at Derek Barnes this year.
Yeah, you thought they would step forward.
Yeah.
Now, with all that said, and I'm not disagreeing with you, his message got pretty loud and clear 2 weeks ago when that makeshift secondary played as well as it did.
It's just facts.
Yeah. So, but I remember that after the Green Bay game because it really made me think about the Aaron Glenn connection with the corners.
I like what happens sometimes, and this is a good conversation because we can connect it to, I guess, the Baltimore Ravens who are playing tomorrow. Sometimes when you get backups in there, Shep, what they do is they do the job that's supposed to be done. They go in there, they use the technique they're supposed to use. They don't go looking for more than there. They don't go try to make a play that's not there if they're a DB or do the most or have energy or swag. They do what's available. And if you have good coaches will put players in situations to have success. Look at Tyler Huntley last week with the Baltimore Ravens. He took what was given. Yeah. He took what was given, had success. They get a dub. They get off the field. The DBs for the Lions playing against the Bucs, they played the technique that was taught to them. They played the coverages that were called. And in doing so, they were able to have a lot of success. Sometimes starters need to see that. Starters need to say, you know what? Let me dial into the technique.
What did you say earlier in the week about Joe Flacco and how Joe Flacco taken what I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it to number one. Why 100%. Wouldn't you get it to Jamar?
He's the best receiver in the league. I throw the ball to him 15 times a game. You suck on defense. They throw him 15, throw T. Higgins 8, 9, and then give the rest to Brown in the backfield. That's how you operate in that space.
Hey, speaking of Kelvin Shepherd, real quick, there's a big to-do about him liking some Instagram posts of LSU fans wanting him to be their next head coach. Somebody put out it's actually a pretty cool video, a montage of him making tackles as an LSU linebacker, Tiger. Right? Just because somebody likes something doesn't mean that automatically they're interested in the head coaching gig. How do you guys interpret that?
We live in an era where the like has power. Like the like has power. I
agree with Braylon.
And the like has a conversation because you can use the like to your advantage, you can use your disadvantage. So you just have to start there. With this, I don't think it's any more than appreciation. When you look at yourself, somebody took the time to put you back when you were playing at LSU, create a highlight reel, and say, hey, we want to see this guy now as our head coach. That's fun, man. That's appreciation, and you're just grateful that you put yourself in a situation for somebody to do that for you. He ain't trying to go to LSU. Yeah. He's not trying to deal with NIL and the transfer portal and all those things down there in Death Valley and them trying. Nobody had time for that.
You wouldn't think so. I think being a college head coach is harder than an NFL head coach.
What 1,000%? I mean, unless you're looking to go down there, set your buyout out the right way, and then if it doesn't work, you got a hell of a bag, and you can come back to the NFL ranks, because there definitely would be a defensive coordinator job for Kelvin Shepard. They can get him back to a head coaching job potentially. So maybe that, but that's like 0.%. That's like point whatever number you want to throw out there.
I don't see a ton in it, but I know people will. And LSU, based on what I was reading yesterday about the governor, Jeff Landry, being a part of the firing of Brian Kelly, I don't think Shep wants anything to do with a LSU job. And I don't think any pro coach wants anything to do with the college football job anymore. I just think there's too many moving parts and too many mouths that have an opinion and are donating money to even want to do anything with that.
Well, if you get to pick your own GM, hi Bill Belichick, then maybe some will want to be there, right?
Yeah.
If you're picking your own general manager, and that's the way a lot of schools are.
Yeah.
Look who's coaching Stanford, Frank Reich, associated with Andrew Luck. So I agree with you. I don't know why you'd want to do it, especially if I were the athletic director or a general manager. I would pause from an NFL coach only because have you lived in this college football space? It's a hard space to get used to. It's a nasty, nasty business right now. So, but interesting comments. All right, when we come back, we've got the mailbag, and we've got some foul. Yeah,
Pistons, baby. We're talking about the Pistons going to the game night. I'm excited. The Pistons
Let's go. You've got courtside seats. Kool-Aid and I will be. Well, we need Kleenex for the nosebleeds. Yeah. Thanks for that. This from BlackRock.
My bad, chef. Yo, you see in the background, 1999 Steak and Lobster. This is what BlackRock wants to do for you. They want to present you a great product, succulent food, tastes amazing, all the things, but also his price point that you can fit into. Not only just Steak and Lobster, they also have the Braylon's beef, and what that entails, that's a 20-ounce New York strip. Like, let's go. A New York strip for $20. The whipped potatoes and the broccolini, chef. I know this is amazing. Limited time only for all of those deals. The deals are hot, but they will not last long. Lions win, you win. If the Detroit Lions win, how about you pop into a BlackRock and just tell them you want a free appetizer? You know why? Because that's what you get. We like partnering with individuals that want to give a little something back to you. So, free appetizer for you after the Lions beat the Vikings. BlackRock Bar and Grill is the place to sizzle.
You know, we talk about doing things the right way. Obviously, BlackRock Bar and Grill does things the right way. The Lions are doing things the right way by extending Aidan Hutchinson. You know who else does things the right way? Lady Jane's. They know that, look, you don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally. You don't have a lot of time to sit around and waste time. Time is valuable. So when you come in to Lady Jane's, you get a clean place in which you can sit comfortably. You get nice people who are willing to carry on a conversation. You get a hell of a haircut, and it comes in a very quick fashion. Sign up, you're in the chair, you're getting your haircut, and you're out the door. It's Lady Jane's, and another reason why it's wicked awesome.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face. New focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. the puss in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi experts, Woodward Sports.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasto salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
If you are looking to bet legally and responsibly, head over to Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code on your screen. If your first bet does not hit, you get that deposit right back. Maximum bet of $1,000, minimum bet of just $20. Use code Woodward1000 or scan that QR code.
And we bet.
I thought about another random
fire away. I love random thoughts.
Performance. And I know a lot of people going to not like the performance because they don't like the guy, and that's fine. I don't necessarily care for him either. But when I was about to say Vince Carter. Well, LeBron James scored 27 in the last 29 at the Palace in 2006.
Yeah.
I was there. Like, watching that was the moment I was like, all right, the hype is real. Like, in terms of what he could become and the talent 100%. Like, that 27 in the last 29, and I just had to watch the #1 defensive team in the league get old in the last 30 seconds of the game and not want any parts. That was a pretty phenomenal moment.
Yeah, look, you set yourself up for everyone ridiculing you and being an idiot if you don't admit certain things.
Yeah.
Okay? We had the discussion yesterday about greatest athletes and so on and so forth. I think there's a little bit of an over the top with Shohei Ohtani. I'm one of those people who doesn't mind being patient and waiting to give some information. I don't have to be the first. I just have to be right. But and it's not like he was great yesterday. 6 Ks in 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs. But it doesn't mean I can't admit he's a phenomenal player. It doesn't mean I can't admit that I haven't seen anything like him. Okay, but it just means that you can have a debate about certain other things. LeBron James, look, if you don't think he's a great player, you're a moron.
Yeah.
I mean, you just are. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I know there are certain things. I can't stand him, but there are certain things about him that I don't like on and off the floor, number one. But number two, he gets preferential treatment for sure. Do I think he's Michael Jordan? No, I don't. And I don't know if you saw the Mike Tirico interview with Michael Jordan. It was pretty awesome. When he's out there saying, look, I mean, there's days I could have taken off. There's days I could have had the load management, if you will, and I didn't. And that makes me go, you know what? Even though I couldn't stand him as a player, I hated what he said about the Pistons, and I hated what he did to Isaiah Thomas and what Chuck Daly did to Isaiah Thomas and what Magic Johnson did to Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. I hate all of that.
Call them all out.
With that said, Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player I've ever seen.
I feel that at the end of the day, damn all that. What I saw LeBron do that night was special.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like him, but what he did was special. 27 of 29, the last points to not only go to overtime, to win the game in overtime, and essentially bury the Pistons.
Yeah.
Bury the Pistons. And they were the defensive team.
Yeah.
They
Good
were
team.
the threat.
Yeah.
No Ben Wallace, though.
Shot 3-pointers from half court. He Rip Hamilton, not Rip Hamilton. Tayshaun Prince under the baskets, Antonio McDyess, like he dunked on him to take the game to overtime. But as it relates to Shohei Ohtani, Shep, I will tell you this. No arguing for me today about him being the best ever or blah, blah, blah. But I will say this. When the analysts go back and the analysts look at this game, which you say he just pitched okay, they're also going to remember that he hit 2 bombs and 2 doubles legitimately about 9 innings before he pitched. and went on that mound. So
I know. I heard it.
He also had to do that as well.
Yeah, I know. I listen.
And hit.
Listen, it was shoved down our throat last night on all the postgame shows. So
I'm
well aware of it. I know. I did. And what it was is Tim Kirkchin and everybody else saying he's the only guy who could have ever done this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I agree. And like I said, I think he's unbelievable. What isn't talked about nearly enough is his speed too. For a big guy, 6'3", the way he moves, he's unbelievable. And really, if you're standing next to him, and I did a couple of years ago when he was with the Angels, I couldn't believe how big he was. Right. However, of course, everybody's big to me. However, if a guy doesn't perform, you got to be willing to say he didn't either. Okay. So everybody else is out there and doing their stuff, and Vladimir Guerrero didn't have a lot of sleep either. But anyway, speaking of baseball. No, but he's hitting and he's fielding.
But he's not pitching.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's at the pitch and then go hit, and then pitch and then go hit.
Right, and then after 6 innings, he didn't pitch, and Vladimir Guerrero is still out there playing defense. Anyway, so earlier today, Tarek Skubal, by the Major League Players Association, named Pitcher of the Year. Yeah. Shouldn't be a surprise, American League Pitcher of the Year. And you know what that opens up. Everybody and their brother, everybody and their brother. Yeah, money. Yeah. So here we go. There's a way all the accolades will start coming, you know. He'll be the Cy Young Award winner. He'll be probably in the MVP conversation. He won't win it, but he'll be in the MVP conversation because it's really down to 2 guys in the American League. But he will be in that conversation, and it's going to fuel that flame. You know, it's going to fuel that fire. That's for sure. Any of that fire in the chat? Kool-Aid.
We do have a couple super chats we got to get to before we wrap things up here, and it's one is from Michael Wary. He wears the number 2 crown in the chat today. $5 super chat. He says the Lions trade proposal for Patriots edge rusher Anthony Jennings. He says Lions could send the Patriots a 2026 6th and 7th round pick for Jennings. So I'm guessing he wants you guys' thoughts on it.
Who cares? It's 20. Yes, do it. 100%.
Why would the Patriots do that? Are they not playing Are they not playing for a division crown and possibly a number 1 seed in the AFC?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't understand.
Is this a deal that's on the floor, or is this a deal that's being presented as a possibility?
Or is this just something somebody's saying, I think this would be a good fit? I don't know.
Yeah,
I love the creativity, but I'm just asking, why would New England do it if they're vying for something similar to what Detroit is vying for?
New England just beat the number 1 team in their divisions, like the Buffalo Bills. Like they have bigger prize right now. They have the eyes on a bigger prize. Mm-hmm. They believe that they can contend. They're looking at the AFC like, why not us? Like the Indianapolis Colts, we might can beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know just there's one more super chat in the system as well. But before that, I know there was a couple moves. CJ to the Bears today, as well as the Jets sent cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th round pick to the Eagles in exchange for wide receiver John Mechie and a 2027 pick. So some secondary players on the move today, which was just kind of interesting after hearing some of Ryan's comments earlier.
Interesting they're going after wide receivers. John Mechie actually was nice coming out of Alabama. He got injured last year, I won't say with the Texans, but
all their wide receivers did.
Yeah, 100%. CJ incoming. They're going to have to play against the Detroit Lions. You know there's going to be some jaw jackets and back and forth. I guarantee you if he plays in that game, he will have a penalty. It just is what it is, but good for him.
You can have him.
Good for him.
Good for Ben Johnson.
We're going to the Pistons game tonight.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. What's that?
One more super chat.
One more super chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one's from Mike, Michigan Go Blue, number 3, crown in the chat, 49 super chat. He says,
appreciate you.
What are your early thoughts on Michigan and Ohio State?
A little long from now, but right now Ohio State has shown chinks in the armor, but I don't know if Michigan's shown that they could do enough to, if you were just having the conversation, it's not as a homer. Like, I can get into the psychology and who owns who and this, that, and the third, but just speaking of that, Michigan's shown that they can compete for the first half. They haven't shown me anything past that.
Yep. The offensive line concerns me.
Yeah.
If I'm a Michigan fan right now, and their wide receivers against Ohio State's corners would greatly concern me. Downs might be the best player in America as the safety of Ohio State. We're going to be talking about Pistons,
crazy
Lions for sure tomorrow, and we've got Braylon's breakdown tomorrow. That's all coming up on the Braylon Edwards Show on Thursday. Hope you can join us 2 o'clock here on Woodward Sports. Have a great day.
See you.
Looking for your daily sports fix? Look no further. Join Braylon Edwards, the University of Michigan legend.
Lofting it right corner of the end zone for Braylon, up in the air.
Touchdown, Michigan!
And SHEP.
Do you believe this comeback?
Your favorite sports commentator as they tackle the hottest topics in the world of sports. Catch the Braylon Edwards Show with SHEP. Monday through Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Get ready to laugh, learn, and love sports like never before.